want to take a few minutes here to show you how to collect content from around the internet and put it onto a shared RSS, or a really simple syndication page using Google Reader. It becomes a powerful tool because you can then take this previewed content and share it with your students. You can share it with faculty and staff, or if you're an instructional technology specialist, you can certainly deliver it in a weekly email to everyone in the district to keep them up to date and give them the relevant information. It's also very good to use with students because it exposes them to new media and new ways of using the internet to collect powerful information, and also in the process you can teach them to be discriminatory about that information, knowing that the internet is full of bias. So here we are. I'm logged into a Google Reader account. Let me close a couple windows here. Right now I'm on Google Reader. You can see I'm in my home page. I am logged in. I'm using Firefox currently, and here are a couple subscriptions I've chosen to model for you today. On the left hand side, I can click on all items. It will give me a similar look to my home feed, but this just stacks all my information on top of one another in individual blocks or modules, and this share button is where we're coming back to make this happen. So before we get to that, let me show you here on the left hand side there's the sharing settings link. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. That will bring up my sharing settings. You can see here that who can see your shared items. It's currently set to public, and that's important. We want to leave it set to public so that our shared events, or excuse me, our shared entries will be available to anyone that visits the link that we're going to create here shortly. Now, I have not set up my Google profile on this account yet, but if I did, down here under your shared items page, you can see it says choose a custom URL. I have that capability, it's just that I haven't set up that Google profile on this account yet. Not a big deal, because I actually find it even easier if I come to the top right here. I can choose preview your shared items in a new window, and we'll come back to that in a minute, but this is the link that will give us the URL to our shared items. First, however, we're going to have to talk about how do we get information into this section, shared items. You can see if I click on this right now, I haven't shared any items yet, so I want to start to do that. Under all items on the left hand side, you'll see that I can see all of my content in a stream, or I can come over to my specific subscriptions. For instance, here's Shelly Terrell's blog, The Teacher Reboot Camp. I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and you can see that there's a stream of her most recent entries onto this page. So here's one from Shelly from Happy New Year. I'm going to go ahead and scroll to the bottom of this particular framed module for this entry, and as you can notice, as you see here on the bottom, I have some options. I can choose whether I like the content, I can star it, but for this particular tutorial I'm most interested in clicking on the share feature right here. It's a toggle switch, so it's either on or off, and you'll see that if I click on the share button, I will get the orange colored RSS icon, which lets me know that sharing is on for this particular item. It also turns to unshare in case I want to turn this off from my shared items. Let's say you're going from week to week and you want to add and remove content as it's relevant to that time and place. If I scroll down, I can see a few more of Shelly's entries here. I will surely go down here. Okay, here's a share icon for this particular module. I'll choose that. And let's just grab one more. I'll come over here to Larry Ferlazzo's websites of the day, another great blog, and I'll choose one from him as well, showing YouTube videos without the clutter. If I choose share there, now I have selected at least 3 entries, or I've selected 3 entries here to show up in my shared item page. You can see here they are. So now I've just taken them and I've added them. I haven't replaced them. They're still in my all items. They're still in the subscriptions feeds. Now they're also in my shared items. Great. So what do I do now? How do I get the link to this shared page of content? Back in the sharing settings right here on the left hand side, I'm going to click on that, and under the your shared items page, I'm going to click this first link that I mentioned earlier, preview your shared items page in a new window. If I click on that, you'll notice, bam, there it is, Google Reader richest shared items, and here are the blog entries or the RSS feeds that I've chosen for this particular demonstration, and here is the link to this shared content. Again, you can see I can take the time to set up a Google profile, and I'll have a more customized look and feel. I certainly would suggest you trying that out as well. I'm going to go ahead and copy this URL to make it a little easier, because these numbers can be tedious, and especially if you're working with younger students, it can be difficult. Well, if you're working with anybody, it can be difficult for them to type in this string of numbers. So I'm going to copy this, and what I often do in the classroom, or what I have done in the past, is I will add a new tab. I'll go out to tinyurl.com, and I will simply paste this in here like that, and I will give it the URL. Like, I often will use a custom alias in recreating the URL here, and I usually base it around the name of my course. So let's say I'm using this for Tech Sem 2. I'll go ahead and choose Make Tiny URL, and if that link is available, which it is, it tells me that my tiny URL was created, and then at this point I can simply use this much shorter URL, copy, paste it into any address bar. Try that again. Copy and go, and there we have it, Rich's shared items. And that is how you can take content from the blogosphere or any other RSS feeds that you have, and you can put them into a single location, a shared resource to distribute among faculty, friends, and most importantly, I find it the application with the most impact is doing this with students and giving them